All right, so we're live. One viewer. Thank you for stopping by to check this out. I'm going to be converting a Pathfinder 2e module to DC20. I've been working on it for a while. I'm actually on the third chapter out of three chapters for Troubles in Otari. Um, there's definitely a lot of spoilers, so if you're playing in Troubles in Otari, I would recommend not watching this. I'm going to keep looking at the chat. Oh, hey, Adam. I'm going to keep looking at the chat, and if you guys have anything, I'll try to answer it, and otherwise, I'm just going to go to work. So I know that Chapter 3, there's not very much for me to convert right now. In the beginning is all story stuff. But when I do convert stuff to DC20, one of the first things that I do is look for areas where the wording isn't the same, and then I try to smooth that over. Largely, that has to do with changing perception to awareness, changing strength to might, or dexterity to agility, changing distances in feet to. Thank you, Adam. Yeah. We kind of stalled when we stopped making content over the holidays, so it would be awesome to actually hit that 300 subscriber mark, and then maybe even beyond. 500 would be really cool, and of course, there's that 1,000. I forget what happens. Oh, at 500, you can do super chats, so that would be very helpful. I'm also looking for like magic items. There was a magic item in there, the sun wheel, but I don't need to actually convert that because it's nothing that the players will have during the campaign to actually use. The sun wheel is only for after the campaign is over. They get it and take it back. Essentially, Chapter 3 is trying to obtain that holy relic. So I know that finding the scar is going to be the first place that I'm going to have some converting to do. So as I'm looking over this, and I'm not sure if you guys can see it or not, I might need to actually zoom it in some so that it's easier for you to see. I don't know. Maybe I can, if I have it zoomed in that much, I can probably make the image a little bit bigger for me too. This is all the story notes about how they're going to get to the final dungeon. So as I'm scanning through this, I'm really just looking for things like this DC18 survival check. That's going to change. The DC is probably too high. At this point, the players are going to be level 4. And Dungeon Coaches set pretty good guidelines on what a DC should be for characters of various levels. And then you scale up or down based on whatever a normal difficulty would be. So, level 4 characters, their save DC is 15. It's 8 plus combat mastery plus prime. So, level 4, their prime is 3, and their combat mastery, I think I messed up. It's 10 plus. 10 plus combat mastery plus prime. So 10 plus their prime of 3 is 13, plus their combat mastery at level 4 is 2. So their save DC is 15. So that's also a normal DC for them to make, normal difficulty. And then you can scale it up or down from there. So for a 4th level dungeon, 15 is probably fine. Pathfinder, the numbers are higher, so you could have um, this 18 would be fine for a 4th level Pathfinder character, but for DC20, I'm going to actually change that DC to 15. Where is the DC? Uh, Here it is. And then also the other thing is that anytime that I change something, I always highlight it so that I know what I've changed. So now when I actually run this, I'll be able to look at the the yellow, and I'll know that this is already converted to DC20. And then if there's something else that I've missed as I'm going through here, it won't be yellow, and I can adjust it on the fly if I need to. Survival does exist in DC20, so having a survival check is fine. So as I continue down, so Pathfinder uses a lot of +1s and +2s, little bonuses. So instead of doing the little bonuses, what I would do is say that having the notes provides advantage on the check. So instead of a +2 bonus, provide advantage to this check. If they don't have a compass, so they would usually take a penalty if they don't have a compass. I'm honestly not sure if I want to get that weeded with things. I find that Pathfinder does have a lot more crunch than I would normally like in my games, just to be honest. It's fine if people like and prefer that. And it definitely does give you a lot of rules for a lot of things, but maybe it's from a decade of playing 5th edition D&D that I typically don't usually think about things like compasses and that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do, again, because DC20 doesn't really work on a small +1, +2, -1, -2 system like Pathfinder does, I'm going to just do disadvantage on the check. And I'm going to actually put a question mark instead of the period as a question to myself, and I'm going to highlight this to say that I've changed that, and I have also changed that they have advantage, so I'll highlight that as well. But again, I'm not 100% that I would care if they have a compass or not, and I don't know that the players would necessarily think about it that way either. So I may or may not do the disadvantage, and then if they have the notes, then they have advantage and disadvantage. It washes out, so it may not really matter. But I think I've smoothed that over. Continuing on, I see a DC19 nature check, and oftentimes what I look for when I'm converting things is DCs, because that's usually where there is a thing, something to convert. A hero who performs the investigate exploration activity can attempt a DC19 nature check to recall the existence of a large ridge nearby. Again, the DC is it's too high, but I would think if I converted an 18 to a 15, then to keep the difficulty feel the same, I would probably make this a DC 16 nature check. However, I can also just run it the way that DC20 does their analyzed creature, which is on a 10, they remember some things and so on. But this isn't an analyze creature check, and I think to keep the feel of the module, I will probably go with a DC16. And then nature also does exist in DC20 as well, so no need to convert that word over. There is a combat before reaching the dungeon. It is an orc warband. The difficulty is a moderate 4, so it would be a moderate difficulty for 4 fourth level characters. That kind of plays into how much experience you would get in Pathfinder. I've decided to just use Milestone, which is fine for this game, because I don't know that the XP would transfer 1-to-1. It could. I could just ahead of time figure out what the XP for each of these encounters would be, and then just run it with the Pathfinder experience. But in essence, at the end of Chapter 1, the heroes should be level 3, so that when they go into Chapter 2, they are level 3. And when they finish Chapter 2, they should level to 4, so that in Chapter 3, they are level 4. So I'm actually just going to run a milestone and keep them on those. And I have a prologue. This is a little bit of backstory away from the conversion, but I have a prologue that I'm going to run because Troubles in Otari starts at level 2, and I wanted to give the players an opportunity to play at level 1 and get used to their characters. I just realized I increased the size of my video and didn't transposition it, but anyway. The module is built for level 2 characters for Pathfinder, but I didn't want to start the DC20 characters at level 2. So what I've done is converted half of the beginner box into a modified version of itself, an abbreviated version, so that they get all the information and all the basic experience of playing through the beginner box of Pathfinder, but converted to DC20. And that is for level 1, normally anyway. And then towards the end of the beginner box, you're supposed to level to 2, and then there's 2 boss fights. So I've essentially just cut the beginner box in half, took the one boss and put it in the first half, and then the players will have a chance to interact with each other, level up to 2 throughout that first probably 2 sessions, which is good. So they'll have 2 sessions to play at level 1, get used to their characters, build some party camaraderie before setting off into the actual adventure of Trouble in Otari. And Trouble in Otari is also kind of an extension of the beginner box, to where if you were playing this in Pathfinder and you ran the beginner box, it's even suggested that you could very easily go from the beginner box to Trouble in Otari as an extension of that beginner box experience. So I'm kind of capturing that, and then like again, Chapter 1 of the actual module, they will be level 2. Chapter 2 of the actual module, they'll be level 3, and then in Chapter 3, they'll be level 4. The cool thing here is that by the time I start running this, in theory, Beta 0.9 will be out, and the players will be able to play it as levels 1 through 4 characters, with rules to support levels 1 through 4, because Beta 0.9 will go from level 1 to 4, including 3 subclass options for every class. So I think this should be a really fun adventure. Kind of off track, and I haven't really done all that much converting, so I'm going to try to get back to the converting. And currently, I don't even think I have anybody watching, but I'm just going to keep converting, and if I'll keep looking at the chat, and if I have anybody, I'll I'll talk to you guys, and if not, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm looking in here for anything that might be important. When this last warrior is reduced to 10 hit points, the orcs surrender. What are the battle cries? Until a final orc is left standing. And then when that orc has 10 hit points, that orc surrenders. If they manage to take an orc prisoner, okay, so this is also to try to get the players a little bit of extra information. It would surrender before 10 hit points, so, or, well, it would have less than 10, because the orcs are more than likely going to have less than 10, like, they're going to have low hit points, probably. What I need to do is actually convert these guys, so let's look up orc scrapper. There's orc scrapper. Drag him out so that I can access his token. I'll need that in a minute, but what I really need now is just his stats. And then this will be the first actual conversion. So on the fly quick, I would just look at its hit points, which are 15. And for Pathfinder to DC20, I typically quarter the hit points. So, and then I round up as you do everything in DC20. The thing that I'm seeing here, though, is that, I mean, a quarter would be, it would end up being 4, because it would be 3 point something and then round up to 4. But 4 hit points, I mean, these things are not supposed to be very strong at this point. Let me see what the other enemy is. An orc commander. So let's see how strong this orc commander is. Now, in D&D, I typically use a third of the hit points. And for most higher level things in Pathfinder, quarter's been fine. But I think for this, that's too low. I think I might third these, especially for a 4th level character, because like 4 hit points, this thing is gonna die in like 1 hit, no problem. That doesn't really seem right for an orc, and 32 would only be 8 hit points if it's quartered. So I think I'm gonna do a third on these. Alright, let me actually close that for now, and then go to my monster compendium, and I'm probably actually going to have to make this screen smaller, because it's too too big to work with. Alright. Let's see. I feel like that could go 1 size bigger maybe, and that'll be okay. Alright. So what I need to do, I made this character sheet for myself, which is pretty basic, but it has all the information that I need to run the monster. So typically I run the monster off of something like this, and I just make all the rolls through the dice roller or macros. So its might is going to be kind of based on its strength and its constitution. So it is a strength +3 and a constitution +3. It is a level 0 creature, which for DC20, I usually round that up to 1, and the reason is well, I've done videos talking about the reason. Just really quick is that novice is the lowest level in DC20, and it goes novice and then 0 and then 1. And Pathfinder starts at -2, -1, and then 0. So essentially, the way I see it is that in order to line them up evenly, novice equals -2, 0 in DC20 equals -1 in Pathfinder, 1 in DC20 equals 0 in Pathfinder, and then 2 in DC20 equals 1 in Pathfinder. So that every level is 1 higher than it would have been. Just because there's one extra level in there, the -1, that doesn't really exist in DC20, because novice is like -2. So if this creature is 0, it's going to be creature level 1. And it's so low level. Sometimes I will allow the prime to go 1 higher than what it should be for a monster. So like I could allow it to be a 4, but I can't see doing that for a level 1 creature. So I'm going to give its might +3. Agility, I'm just going to take the dexterity +2 is fine. And then charisma and intelligence. So in Pathfinder then you also have wisdom, and I need to kind of blend that into intelligence and charisma. I'm going to take that +1 wisdom bonus, slide it into intelligence, and then just give it 0 charisma, 0 intelligence. And yeah, we have its core stats. You'll see what I do with the extra bonus from that hardiness of the Constitution in a minute. But PD, physical defense, the formula is 8 plus combat mastery plus agility plus any armor bonus. So 8 plus its dexterity, its agility of 2 is 10. Its combat mastery is 1, so that's 11. I'm looking at its equipment, and it has hide armor, so it's kind of like medium armor. Let's say it is novice light armor with sturdy as a modification, so that's going to be an additional +2. So 8, 9, 10, 11, that'll be 13. So PD 13. Its MD is, I can tell you it's going to be 9 because it's 8 plus intelligence plus charisma. So with 0, 0 in those two stats, it's going to be just the combat mastery of +1. And then it's hit points. And this is a point where I could actually run with the quartered stats because since I didn't bonus it to might with the Constitution, those extra 3 points I would just give it as hit points. So if a quarter would be 3 point something rounded to 4, and then I gave it 3 extra hit points and it had 7, 7 is actually fine. And another way to look at it, if I went with, say, a third, what would it be? It would have been 5. And maybe I would have bonused it a little bit, and maybe up to 8. 7's fine, though, I think. It'll die in 1 really, really good hit at level 4, or it will die in 2. But my level 4 characters, I've seen them do sometimes 9, 10 damage, and that's without anything extra to, like, extra help and things. That's just power attacks and hunter strikes and all kinds of extra things to stack up the damage. So I think I might just run with the quarter and then buffing it off of their Constitution, which they, isn't a stat in here. So as I continue on, its speed is 25, is 5 squares, which is very much in line with DC20, so I would just leave it 5. Saves. Now, some feedback that I've gotten is that like saves would be better if it was with the stat as like another line. Since it's a conversion from Pathfinder, and every creature has some kind of save bonuses in Pathfinder for their Fortitude, which is their Constitution. In DC20, it would be Might. Their Reflex, which in most games, like say 5th edition, it would be Dexterity save, or in DC20, it would be an Agility save, and then Will, which is the only mental save. I try to take. I know where their bonuses are for this. Like, say, its Fortitude save is +6. That's because it's getting +3 from its proficiency. I wouldn't give it the full amount, and I might not even give it, or like Reflex, it's getting +2 from its proficiency, 2 from Dexterity, 2 from its proficiency. So, Fortitude being its strongest bonus to saving throw is probably the only bonus that I would give it to a save is Might, and then I would just use the DC20 formula. So I use their Fortitude, Reflex, and Will just to kind of figure out which saving throws I want a bonus, and then the bonus that I give it is based on whatever the Pathfinder save would be. So this is going to be Might, and I would. It has a +3 to Might, and Combat Mastery would make it +4, so its Might save is +4, and again, that's the only save that I'm going to bonus. All right, moving on. A lot of Pathfinder creatures have immunities, resistances, and weaknesses, so I added that to my character sheet here. And they also have a lot of skills, typically. In this case, and I usually just go one by one, athletics. But I don't take the Pathfinder bonus. I figure it out based on DC20. So I keep the same skill, in this case, athletics. And then the athletics bonus would be its Might, which is 3, plus novice level would be +2. So it's going to have +5 to athletics. Just so happen to work out the same. And then it's going to have intimidation as a trained skill. And again, I would figure this out based on DC20 and how it figures it out versus just taking that intimidation +2. And the main difference here is that in Pathfinder, intimidation is based on charisma, which it has a +0 modifier. Now, in DC20, intimidation is based on might, so it's going to have that +3 for might, +2 for novice level, and this orc is going to have +5 to intimidation. So you can see, while I try to use the Pathfinder character sheet as a scaffolding, not everything's going to line up one-to-one because I want it to have the feel of the Pathfinder orc, but work within the DC20 system. Another thing that we're going to see here is it has dark vision, but in DC20, dark vision works a little bit differently than in Pathfinder. Surprising to me, coming from playing a lot of D&D, in Pathfinder, dark vision is dark vision. There's no range to it. If you have it, you can see in the dark as far as you can see, period. But DC20 uses dark vision in 10 space increments, so we give it dark vision 10, meaning 10 spaces of dark vision. Another difference between Pathfinder and DC20. Languages, it's an orc, so it's going to speak Orcish and Common. And then for XP, this is really kind of a holdover from my 5e sheet. I typically put what level it was in Pathfinder, and then in parentheses the level that it is in DC20. Again, that it's one level higher in DC20 than it was in Pathfinder. Based on based on the fact that novice level is the lowest level in DC20 and -2 is the lowest creature level in Pathfinder. And then it goes from novice to 0, but in Pathfinder it goes from -2 to -1. So the Pathfinder creatures, if you were comparing them 1 to 1, are going to be one level behind. Okay. The equipment I would just copy as is pretty much. I would change the armor though. I could actually keep hide armor as a like descriptor, but it's gonna be sturdy novice light armor. Okay, and a battle axe. All right. Attack. So it has a battle axe. Beta. Okay, so I need to look up quick the stats on a battle axe. So 70 starts the weapons. And a battle axe is 1 slashing, versatile, and impact. So 1 slashing verse. I could just do this. Copy and paste. Okay. And then the range is going to be melee. Alright. The to hit level for creature 1 is going to be prime, which is 3, plus its combat mastery of 1, so +4 to hit with that battle axe. But it is versatile, so I would put +6 if it's swinging it two-handed. And again, so I've kind of just taken the weapon. I'm not really looking at, in Pathfinder, its to hit is +7. We're just making it work in DC20 based on its creature level, which we've determined is 1, and figured out its to hit. The damage, of course, in Pathfinder, a D8 +3 piercing. I'm just ignoring that entirely and following the DC20 weapon stats, and then whatever the traits are for that weapon. For a ranged attack, he has a javelin. The attack bonus is the same. The damage on a javelin is most likely 1. Javelin, here it is. 1 piercing, thrown, 10/20. So 1p, and it is thrown 10/20. I'm actually going to put the 10/20 out in the range here. 10/20. So 10 spaces, 20 spaces. Again, ignoring all of the Pathfinder weapon stuff, like thrown 30 feet. So special abilities. Ferocity is the only special ability on the orc. I've already done some orcs, so I think what I'm going to do is just actually copy it from the other orc that I did. So like here's all the monsters that I have converted. And where is the orc that I converted earlier? Bugbear. Oh, no, it wasn't an orc. It was the boar had ferocity. So, yeah, I'd just copy this and then copy it into here. So, as a reaction, it can spend an action point. The monster is reduced to... the trigger is that the monster would be reduced to 0 HP. The effect, the monster avoids being knocked out and remains at 1 hit point, but its exhausted value increases by 1, and if the exhausted level is 3, it can no longer use this ability. So I think it's a flavorful way to demonstrate, you were going to knock this orc onto death's door. He spends an action point off of his next turn to stay on his. I mean, on death's door, you're on your feet, but to stay above 0 hit points, but also becoming exhausted in the process, and thereby less accurate, and just getting weaker and weaker without actually hitting death's door until eventually you're so exhausted that he can't do it anymore, and then can actually be taken out. Although noteworthy that enemies typically don't use death's door, they typically just die. So I want to put a trigger, and then I also want to highlight effect so that it's bold. Okay. All right, so we have our orc. We have converted our orc. So one other thing that I wanted to do is open character, bioinfo. I want to open that in a new tab. Just something that I usually do. Makes it easier. Nope, that's not going to work. I need to scroll up first. Okay. When I'm looking at the monsters, instead of just seeing a list of names over here, I can, see the image. It makes it a little bit easier to find what I'm looking for. Okay, so 7 hit points. So then I just adjust the token, give it 7 hit points in the green bar, 4 action points in the blue bar, update default token, save settings, and our orc is ready to go. The orc fight doesn't happen on this map, so normally I would then put the token on the map where it belongs, but this is not the map for the fight, and there is no map for the fight, so I'll probably just use a generic map. I'm not going to deal with that right now, though. So our orc scrapper is done. Just to test that that worked, if I drag out the orc scrapper, he comes with his hit points, his action points. And then he gets to go into the monster token folder, which I haven't put in alphabetical order yet. It's currently in the order that the monsters appear in the adventure, and then I take the stat block and move it up here. So typically when I'm running things in Roll20 on for DC20, I have the monster tokens. These, like if I drag it out, it will come with its hit points and action points. And then I have the monster stat blocks. So like that was a Kobold Warrior and stat block that I use to actually run the monster. Okay. So I think I'm going to do one more monster conversion, and then I'm going to call this stream. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and save the changes on this. Before I do, I'm going to point out that the next thing that I'm going to be converting, which I could do on stream if people want to see it, is this Nightmare Terrain, which is a complex hazard. I'm not 100% how it's going to convert yet, but there's a lot to convert, like DC24 will saving throw is going to probably become some kind of either an intelligence or a charisma, or maybe it'll just be a mental save. I'll have to see what that looks like, but next time that I convert, it'll be this Nightmare Terrain, so if you guys want to see that, I'll do that next time. I want to convert this Orc Commander, and then I'll be done for tonight. So Orc Commander, we already have him here. Drag him out so that I can get his token. I also need his image, so open character, open in a new tab. Let's see, I don't need that anymore. I don't need that anymore. Oh, nope, I do need that. Okay. That's not the stat block. So to get the stat block, I have it here. And then I need my blank monster sheet, which reminds me, actually, I don't think I renamed this one. No. Oh, I didn't rename that one either. All right. So this is the Orc Scrapper. This one I'll do later. I don't remember what his name was. He was actually like a named NPC. I could drop the picture now. That'll be quicker than having to do it later. And see people keep popping in and dropping out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We're converting monsters and things from Pathfinder to DC20. Alright, so looking at his might, or looking at his creature level first. So in Pathfinder, creature level 2, I already know in DC20 that's going to be creature 3. Third level creature, a couple things that I know about that. Combat mastery is 2. Also prime is only 3, but again I don't mind going +1 more. So I think I'm going to keep it might +4, looking at his strength there. So what we're currently looking at is these 6 ability scores, but we're going to convert it into the 4 for DC20. Agility will be +2. Again, I have that Constitution bonus. I will just add it to his hit points when I get to it, and also to his might save. So Charisma, he has +2. Wisdom +1. I'll probably shift that into Intelligence so that he doesn't have a negative Intelligence. And then +2 Charisma, 0 Intelligence. So we took the Wisdom bonus, moved it to the Intelligence, and that washes, and then we keep the +2 Charisma. PD, using the formula, just like before, 8 plus Combat Mastery, which is 2, that's going to make 10, plus Agility is going to make 12. What kind of armor? Hide armor, same as the other guy. So that's going to be sturdy light armor. So +2 is going to put him at 13. Is that right? 2 for the armor, 2 for the agility, 2, 16. So actually PD 14, and then his MD is going to be 8 plus intelligence plus charisma plus combat mastery. So +2 for charisma, +0 for intelligence, +2 for combat mastery is +4, plus the 8 MD of 12, and hit points quartered. 32 is going to be 8. And then I would give him an additional 1 hit point because of the Constitution that I didn't roll into his might. So, and then that, of course, is going to be based on this hit points here. So again, too, I'm kind of ignoring the Pathfinder AC number and just calculating it as if the character was of a certain level in DC20. That way the numbers make sense to DC20. I could honestly do that with hit points also. Just using the formula of, like, say 6 plus level plus might. This guy would have more hit points in that regard because it would have been 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, and then depending on class also changes the hit points. I don't really feel like it's necessary though to follow that formula for the hit points, quartering and then giving a little bit of a bonus for any kind of constitution that the monster has in Pathfinder has been fine in my experience. I think the last thing that I copied was ferocity, and he has ferocity also, so I might as well paste that in while I have it copied. The speed, again, 25 feet is 5 spaces, which is normal for DC20. His saves, he has really good mental saves, actually. He's getting like +4, +5, +6. He's getting +6. from his proficiency bonus because his will save is based on wisdom. So I think I would still give him a might save bonus and probably charisma save, which would be good because charisma is what you use to resist intimidation, and I feel like an orc commander is probably good at resisting intimidation. So if he's trained in might saves, he would have 4+1, so 5. No, +2 combat mastery. Yeah, so +6 to might saves, and charisma. We'll give him charisma saves at +4. No immunities, resistances, or weaknesses. Skills. Again, just like before, 1-to-1 athletics. Except to figure out the bonus, it would be the DC20 way. Novice level is +2, +4 for the might is going to be +6 in comparison to the +8 Pathfinder. Intimidation, again though, based on might, so it's going to also be +6. And then survival, it probably doesn't come up for an NPC monster, but it has it in Pathfinder, so I'd just give it here too. And survival is based on intelligence, so he's only going to have +2. Senses, dark vision, 10, just like before. Orcish and common. His creature level in Pathfinder, which is 2, and creature 3 for DC20. This again really just more for me, so that I know it's combat mastery and things. For D&D, I was often putting the D&D XP, what the CR level of the creature was in D&D, and then what the combat mastery of the creature was for DC20. But I can look at creature 3 and I know that the combat mastery is 2, because it's essentially just like spell slots and scaling equipment. So he has novice. Oh, it's sturdy. Novice, light armor. He has a maul, and he has javelins. Alright, attack. So it's going to be the maul and javelin. His to hit at level 3 is prime, which in this case is 4, plus combat mastery, so he's going to have +6 to hit. Noteworthy that in this fight there's only one of these guys, so it's not, hopefully not overwhelming. It doesn't seem like it should be. And damage. So I need to go back to this. A maul. There's great maul. Is that what he would be using? It seems to be the only maul if I want to use a maul. So I'm going to copy the traits. It's 2 bludgeoning. And then the traits in parentheses. Two-handed heavy and impact. It's a good weapon, melee. Impact on a 2 damage weapon is really good. And then the javelins, the range was 10-20. I remember that. It was 1 piercing and it's thrown. So this orc does have a couple extra abilities. So what I'd like to do is, well, it looks like only one extra ability is Battle Cry. So I'm going to make this Battle Cry work in DC20. So there is an action cost. For some reason, Roll20 is cutting it off. But I need to also assign it an action cost. If I wanted to actually find out what it is in Pathfinder, I would need to go to Archives of Nethys probably, since it's not visible to me. But I will just base it on whatever the ability actually does, and then copy over the ability, which is concentrate. Not necessarily concentration. In Pathfinder, concentrate is not the same as 5th edition or DC20 concentration. So I don't know if I want to add concentrate to that. Let's see. Bellowing a mightily, the commander gives themselves and all orc allies within 60 feet who can hear them a +1 status bonus to attack rolls and damage rolls until the start of the orc commander's next turn. Okay, so my thought process there goes that there is a commander in DC20, and I bet that there's a commander ability that would do that better. Honestly, I could just give it Commander's Call and make it two action, make it two actions to do Commander's Call abilities. Um, and I say two actions because they don't have stamina, so it would be too much, I think, to um, to do it for one like Commander's Call is normally. So we make it two action points, and we'll actually change that ability to um, command a creature, control, and we're going to make it that. Command a creature that you could see within 5 command, and we're going to just clean up the wording some. An orc. An orc that you could see within 5 spaces that can also see and hear you. The chosen creature could immediately take one of the following actions as a reaction for free. You can only use them once on each of your turns. And then we add in these things. And the thing is, when copying out of this PDF, it doesn't paste right. You see it like pastes it all as one line, and then it needs to be broken out into its things. And then I'd also want just one extra space between that and the reactions so that they are broken up some, and then I would bold out the just a little bit to make it easier to read. But yeah, I think that's good. That's a cool ability, very commander-like. It plays with DC20 the way that it should, and yeah, like it. That's it. We have completed the orc. Save changes. There he is. Battle cry. 9 hit points. So then I need to give him 9 hit points, 4 action points, update default token, save settings, and just to test the token that it does work, there he is. And then he goes into the monster token folder. So you guys can see I've done a lot of work to make this work in Roll20. I made a folder, Monster Compendium. It has all my monster tokens, all my monster stat blocks, blank monster stat blocks in case I need to convert anything else. Yeah, that's about all I have for right now. I am going to sign off. I hope you have a good night. And again, if you guys want to see me convert a complex magical hazard, I may try to go live tomorrow or Monday at some point and convert that complex hazard over to DC20. It should be pretty cool, I think. It's like a nightmare trap. So if you want to see it, let me know in the comment section. And until next time, keep rolling with us.